Hi, and welcome to episode 18 of Soft Signal. My name is Varun. I'm joined by my co host Aditya. And if this is your first time watching us, we are a cricket podcast who talk primarily about Indian cricket every week. And if this is not your first time and you're coming back to us, thanks so much for all your support. And I hope you enjoy this episode as well. So, today we are on the eve of test number two at Lords, and we thought we'd preview it. So, what are your initial thoughts? Always exciting, a Lord's test.
Yeah, the Lord's Test is exciting. It's for many reasons, right? Firstly, it's Lord's, the home of cricket, as they call it.
Yeah,
It's also got a lot of history attached to it because any performance at Lord's tends to get a lot of attention, both for the players and for the team. And also, Lords is an interesting ground because of the dimensions and just the way it's built. So uh, we've heard it. We've watched a lot of cricket at Lords on TV, and everybody talks about the slope at Lords from one side of the ground to the other, and this slope tends to, of course, aid swing bowling. It also aids run scoring. So there's a lot attached to the stadium,
yeah,
um, and it's really got a rich history. So looking forward to this test match, and hopefully it should be as exciting as the previous one, but with a result at the end of the day.
yeah. Let's hope the weather stays. If the weather stays okay for 5 days, we should get a result. I think Test cricket has just become that result oriented. Both teams are attacking, so at least India is. But yeah, Lord's Test is always fun. We got absolutely thrashed last time when we played at Lord's by an innings, but the previous one we won, the only test on the toes. So it's been a mixed bag for India. So let's see what happens this time. Uh, Team news, just to not the best team news. We'll start with India because that's where our loyalties lie. But so Shardul Thakur, the much talked about, maligned, praised, however, depending on who you speak to, is looks like he's going to miss the second test with a hamstring injury, which means, and at least I think, seems like it's going to be Ashwin back in because there was all this talk about Shardul versus Ashwin. Or do you think they might just, first of all, how big a miss do you think this is for India? I think I know the answer to that already, but who do you think they're going to replace him with?
Yeah, you know the answer to that already. I think it's a
Right.
big miss because again, Shardul Thakur performed well in that first Test match and actually did the things that we were expecting him to do, apart
Yeah.
from this, the duck in the first innings. But as I said in the last episode, I wouldn't read much into that. He's still a much better batsman than that. Um, but I think given that he's probably going to miss out due to his hamstring injury. The next question, as you said, is who's going to replace him? I think for me, it's a straight swap. Shardul goes out, Ashwin comes in.
Yeah.
Um, uh, One might argue that it's not a like to like replacement because Shardul is a bowler, is a swing bowler, and Ashwin's a spin bowler. But then again, if you were to replace Shardul with another fast bowler, say Umesh Yadav or Ishant Sharma, it means that Mohammad Shami will be batting at number 8. And I just think that India cannot afford to go in with such a long tail in these test matches. So I think Ashwin will come in. Of course, he adds a lot with the ball. Let's not forget that he's almost India's second highest wicket taker. Sorry, just I think he's just a few wickets behind Harbhajan. So
Yeah.
Ashwin adds a lot with the ball. He is and a much improved bowler in overseas conditions as well. It's something that troubled him in the earlier parts of his career, but now it doesn't seem to be a problem. So Ashwin's obviously going to bring a lot more with the ball than what he brought on previous tours. Also, um, he'll be capable enough to bat at number 8, so as to prevent the Indian tail from being exceedingly long. So I think that's the straight swap for me. Shardul goes out, Ashwin comes in. Also, if the weather stays true in at Lords for the 5 days, then then you might see spin playing a part towards the end of the Test match.
Yeah,
Of course, for that to happen, or for that to be properly uh, beneficial to India, we would need to win the toss and bat first. But even then, I think if the weather stays, if there's sun, if we get no rain, spin might play a part towards the end of the Test match, and then of course Ashwin becomes even more valuable.
yeah. I really hope. I agree. I think they'll do Shardul with Ashwin, and more so because it's so the batting will become very weak, like you said, and also I don't think they have that. There was so much outcry about dropping Ashwin. If they now don't select him, it's going to be and I think this team gets motivated by things like that, so they might just select him. And I hope our middle order performs this time because it's really crucial. We got a really good opening stand in the last game, and yeah, Anderson was phenomenal, but it's been a letdown for us over the past little while. So I hope Kohli needs to get into form. It's just as simple as that. He's not been in form for the longest time. He's not got a century now. What I know, it's a bit diluted because there was COVID in between, but in 2 years. So I hope, and Rahane and Pujara, we've talked about them enough, but our middle order really needs to perform this time for us to, especially if they're good conditions to bat, we really need to capitalize on them.
Yeah, exactly. I think our middle order really needs to come to the fore, especially Rahane and Pujara. And we've spoken so much about it. Kohli, I'm not really too concerned because he's not got the runs, but he still looks the part, even if his stay at the crease is short. So I think Kohli will eventually come good, even in terms of the run scored. But with Rahane and Pujara, they just don't look the part. I mean, they just look scratchy and edgy at the crease. So that is what worries me the most. Um, of course, if the middle order starts firing, it means that we can score 300 to 350 runs when we bat. And on these surfaces, in these kind of overhead conditions, anywhere between 300 and 350 is a winning score. You get in, bat first, score 300 to 350, you're probably going to win the Test match. And the same thing if you bat second in the second innings. So if that happens, it means that somebody in the middle order from 3, 4, 5 has contributed. So I really hope and wish that one of the three stands up and we see a telling contribution from one of them in this Test match, because that will really influence the result in India's favor.
Yeah, let's hope for the best. But India are not the only team struggling. Actually, England have probably bigger issues because Stuart Broad is 99% out, and I just read he might even be out for the whole series, which is a big deal. And in even bigger news, like Jimmy Anderson, who in his tormentor might be out as well. So this would be only the second test, by the way, just some trivia, since 2007, where England will play without both Broad and Anderson if it happens. So that just shows how important they are to their lineup. And yeah, they have called in Moeen Ali as a spinner. I think we were calling for England to have a spinner as well. Jack Leach doesn't seem to. I think Moeen Ali more so because of his batting. Because so with Jack Leach doesn't provide. He's probably going to play, and they also have called up Saqib Mahmood to possibly replace Anderson. They have Mark Wood also. So I'm guessing out like Broad and Anderson might be out, and then there will be Moeen Ali in and one of the two of Wood or Mahmood to replace them.
Yeah, I think England has bigger problems. Now,
Yeah.
when you think of it, so there are two things here. One, you mentioned that it'll be the first time England's playing without Broad and Anderson since 2007. The other thing is that both of them have 1,100 wickets amongst them, between them. So you cannot simply just change that sort of a combination overnight and expect things to be the same. So I think the loss of Anderson is big, but
Yeah.
the loss of Broad and Anderson is huge for England. I think Saqib Mahmood would probably come in place of Anderson potentially, and Mark Wood in place of Broad. I think this is where they'll genuinely miss Jofra Archer, who we all know last week was had his injury reoccurring, the elbow
Yeah.
injury reoccurring, and it's ruled him out for all cricket for a year. So they're going to miss him simply because he's no longer available, and they need to stretch their resources. England do have resources. It's not like they don't have any decent players on the bench. But of course, you cannot substitute 1,100 wickets overnight. So I think it's a big miss for England if both Broad and Anderson do not play. But I think the addition of Moeen Ali is a good addition for England, simply
Yeah.
because you need a spinner. You need at least one spinner in any conditions, just for to add the variation, just to challenge the batsman a little bit more with other things, other angles, etc. So I think Moeen Ali's addition is good. He also can bat at number 6 or number 7. I think he'll bat at number 7. I think Dan Lawrence could miss out. I also think that Dom Sibley could well be replaced with Hasib Hamid, and who knows, even Rory Burns can be replaced with Hasib
A lot of
Hamid.
changes.
Yeah, I mean, Dom Sibley and Rory Burns haven't really done anything
Yes.
noteworthy for a while, so England might try that out. But I think a lot of changes on the cards for England and bigger problems for England, I would say, as compared to India.
Yeah, and it is actually an even better opportunity for India's batsmen. I'm not saying that the substitutes are any worse, but like you said, 1,100 wickets can't just be replaced just for that. So it'll be an interesting match for sure. And England they're getting vibes of our India tour of Australia, where we had one by one all the players getting injured. The difference being England are at home, of course. So let's see if they replicate that performance. But what do you think? Let's just try to quickly. It's hard, but to predict the match, uh, do you think we have a chance to win? We came pretty close in the last one.
But I think if Broad and Anderson don't play, I think India should win this,
Yeah,
and not simply come close. I mean, this is a huge opportunity, right? You're replacing so much of experience, so many wickets, so much of skill. If both Broad and Anderson don't play, I think India should win this Test match. If Anderson plays, it could be a different story because India has struggled against him, and Anderson swings it no matter what
yeah,
in England. So I think it depends on that. I think again, England's batting frailties are visible for all to see. Moeen Ali might shore it up a little bit, but then again, if Broad and Anderson don't play, I would be surprised to see that India does not win this match. Uh, and I sincerely hope the weather doesn't interfere this time.
yeah. That'll be a shame for the weather really needs to behave itself. We'll hopefully be in for a good match. So we will all be waiting tomorrow morning for the match. I mean, I know it's different time zone depending on where you are, but definitely 5 days of hopefully exciting cricket coming up, and hopefully at the end of the day, at the end of the test, we'll have an India win. We won't be putting out something this weekend because it's going to be in the middle of the test match. So we will be back, um, hopefully the weekend after, where we review the second test and preview the third. But we will. But till then, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this episode, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you like what you see, and also share it.
Yep. Happy watching the second Test match.
Right. See you later.